Colored people are dead. Negroes are dead. Dead to the knowledge of your own God. Dead to the knowledge of the devil. Why? You don't even know who the devil is. You think the devil is someone down inside the ground that's going to burn you after you're dead. Why, the devil is right here on top of this earth. He got blue eyes, blonde hair, white skin.
Yo, peace and harmony, family. It's your guy, Devine Frost, and we back. And we back. Hey, and we back. Okay, hey, and we back. You know what I'm saying? We rocking out. We gonna chop it up about the Shabaka Stone. We gonna talk a little bit about the Shabaka Stone. Well, not a little bit of we talking a lot about the Shabaka Stone. This whole month, I'm gonna be talking about the Shabaka Stone, breaking it down, what it really meant, trying to get all of us to think how our ancestors did back then, so it can help us now and in the future. First thing I want to address is the Egyptians did not worship many gods. That's one thing. They did not worship many gods. They had this thing called the Netjeru, or Neter, if you're talking about one. So Netjeru was plural, Neter was one, meant singular. As my fault. Neter is singular, Netjeru is plural. So the Shabaka Stone is just a rewritten version of the Memphite theology, which explains one creator. You know what I'm saying? It explains one creator, male and female simultaneously. So we are all the creator. We are all images of the one creator, but we all have our own divine purpose and unique specialties. You feel me? So it's like an ocean. And if you take drops out the ocean, that's still the ocean, but
It's 8 o'clock.
they individual pieces of the ocean. That's the same as us, the creator. You know what I'm saying? So like I said before, the Neter, they was representations of the unique purpose of the divine creator. So they wasn't like gods. They were representations of the one creator. So like I said, with the drops of the ocean, so basically they was explaining each drop. If you want to say it like that, they was explaining each drop. So the Neter was a representation of the unique purpose of the divine creator, and the Netjeru, like I said, was plural. Now the first one of the one of the most important ones is Jehuti, or Tahuti, represented knowledge and wisdom, and embodied science, thought, and comprehension. He was a master scribe. And Tahuti was represented by the ibis bird, ibis bird, however you pronounce it. That's the cousin of the stork. You know what I'm saying? They our ancestors use nature to describe a lot of things. So that's why a lot of the gods, or Neter, which is the correct term, that's why all the Neter had animal heads in human bodies, because they basically they knew that we were all one. So they even seen the animals as part of the creator. Now, Atum, or Atum, called into being the superclusters, galaxies, star systems, planets, moons, and all of the cosmic creations. And now our ancestors believed that existence before the beginning began was potential energy existing in the sleepless waters, named none, or the none. And that's what most people think when you hear people say, like, oh, it's water outside of the dome that we live in, yada yada yada. That it's a form of water. It's a form of water, but it's not the form of water that we first think about, or that that we know of. It's a different form of liquid. And after the thought of none, then developed the first moment of existence, which the becoming in existence is Kepra, who was established by Ptah. And Ptah was the conversion of energy at rest, which is potential energy, into kinetic energy, which is energy in motion. So that's what Ptah is. He's the conversion of energy. Um, so that was the first. That was the first and original self-created trinity. Nun, which is water, which is matter. Ptah, which is conversion energy, aka our spirit, and then Atum, which is the word or creative intelligence. That was the first trinity. That was the self-created trinity. This process of all and everything in the cosmic universe to come into existence and continue becoming was called Kepra. And Kepra was represented by the dung beetle. Like I said before, back then our ancestors, they didn't think nature was against us, or they didn't think nature brought us here for conflict. They knew that nature teaches us how to become one with Ma'at. And I'm gonna get into Ma'at later on, because she is also very important to everything. um and Kepra, like I was saying, Kepra, the becoming into creation existence, was the dung beetle. And the dung beetle is the strongest create creature on the planet in proportion to its size. It can lift it can lift up to 1,150 times its weight and carry it forever. So the definition of I don't get tired, basically. And it's always moving towards the sun, aka the light. So our ancestors seen this as moving towards wisdom, you feel me, or knowledge, moving towards wisdom or knowledge, because the dung beetle, when the sun was rising, that's when the dung beetle would come out. And then, like I said, they're always moving towards the sun. So whichever way the sun, then when the sun set, it go back in the ground. Boom. So that's why they use that for the sun, or not the sun, but coming into existence. Now, during the Old Kingdom, which is the first through the sixth dynasty, about 4,245 BCE to 2064 BCE, was when our ancestors' method of thinking, speaking, and doing was at its peak. They were super sapiens. So if y'all watch Dragon Ball Z, and when they become Super Saiyan, or you feel me, that when they just keep leveling up, just know they was probably at their ultra instinct. You feel me? Or they now ultra instinct is probably, I think that's the highest one. You feel me? They was at their ultra instinct stage, basically, if you want to put it like that. You feel me? They knew how to calculate the speed of light. So that just tell you right there. They knew what was faster than the speed of light. You feel me? Close your eyes. That's what's faster than the speed of light. What you see when you close your eyes, that's what's faster than the speed of light. You feel me? So they knew about the four elements: carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. Which carbon is fire, which will be the sun, Atum Ra, oxygen, which is air, which they named Shu, hydrogen, which would be water, which they named Tefnut, and then nitrogen, or minerals, or the earth, which they named Geb. They believe that the universe before the beginning began contained all of the uncreated and created creations at rest, waiting to be called into existence. Remember, Ptah, they was at rest and waiting to be put into motion. The creator, the creator and the creator's creations are made of the same substance. So it's all one. Like I said before, the creation of the cosmos came into the creations of the cosmos came into through unity of three and one. The original Trinity, like I said, Nun, Ptah, and Atum. So they understood that the sun was the cause of life, eternity, strength, and immortality. The sun. Now, Netjeru, like I said before, was plural, and that was like referential. So when acted upon by different situations, they could mean different things. So different, like I said, different things could represent one thing, like the sun. Atum represents the sun, the self-created one, who rested upon Ptah and called to the other Netjeru, none, into being, the voice of the creator. Also, the primal serpent, also a phoenix bird, who, when thought to be dead, rose again through his own ashes. So you feel me, the virgin of day and night. Kepra, like I said, the dung beetle with the sun disk on its head. So it was always like this, with the sun disk on his head, perpetually evolved life by rolling its young in the dung to bring forth the new life. And then also Ra, which I know you heard of Ra, the sun Heru. Um, yeah, he embodied power. You feel me? It was a symbol of eternal insight, basically. Like that's the rebirth. You know what I'm saying? And then Aten, the physical manifestation of light, heat, and sound energy from the sun. So that's when you see that image of somebody like this, you feel me? And then the sun, and then there's like the lines coming down. That's the rays. That's the, you feel me? That is basically the knowledge, the the um, the light, the the sound, everything. That is everything coming from the sun. So that's what that means. Um, the spiritual fears behind all existing physical life that's coming from the sun. That's, and so all six of those all represented the sun, but in different, you feel me, different situations. So like I said, with the phoenix bird, it's representing day and night, when the sun goes down, and then when it comes back up in the rising. And then Kepra, which, you feel me, given its youth, its new life. And then Ra, you feel me, with Heru and whatnot. And then Aten. So the sun was very important. Not only was it a source of Earth's light, heat, and sound and energy, but it helped our ancestor measure time, invent calendars, and develop seasonal patterns. So they learned all this from just observing the sun. They all this from just observing the sun. Like I said, they were at the apex of thinking and everything. They knew that nature could teach you everything. They learned everything from nature. Um, all of the Netjeru are male and female essences. Essences. They are both part of the whole. They are extensions of each other. So you feel me? Gender is manifested in everything and all things. Masculine and feminine principles are forever present and active in all phases of existence. I'm going to say that again. Masculine and feminine principles are forever present and active in all phases of existence. So it was that balance of opposites and complements which brought everything into being and continues the process of becoming in the cosmos. So everything has to have masculine and feminine, uh basically energies. Everything is like yin and yang. You know what I'm saying? You got to. Now, Atum was also considered the cosmic egg, and the atom of modern science is the identical name of the Kemetic egg. You feel me? The essence of the sun. So Atum means self-created utterance. So, and then Atum is the sum of everything. Some something. Atum is the sum of everything, something, and nothing. If that makes sense to you. So it's everything, and it's nothing, and it's something. It's all. It's the self-created. You feel me? Atum was the combination of positive and negative principles. Like I said, both yin and yang. So it's like masculine and feminine. Um, um, masculine will be like the positive, and feminine will be like the negative. But it's not saying good or bad. It's basically, um so I had made a post and I said feminine energy was the strongest energy in the universe. And that's true because that so if you've seen X-Men, those genes of the X-Men will be the feminine principles of us that are activated, which in the X-Men that those were activated. So then they were able, that's why all them people had different type of powers and everything. So that's, how can I explain it? You know feminine, you feel me, females. You can't beat them in an argument. You can't, you just gotta, you know how they say happy wife, happy life type shit. Like we can't, that feminine energy is unmatched. That's not saying masculine is weaker or masculine isn't as important, but that feminine, hey, it's some shit in that feminine energy. So it's just important to understand that feminine energy is nothing to be played with. You feel me? So that's why everything is together, but that feminine energy is the one that sparks it all. And I'm gonna get into that later as well to explain that. Now, Atum was also considered the Kemetic egg, and the atom of the modern science is identical name of the Kemetic egg, like I said before. Um, the creation story is simultaneously spiritual and physical. So spiritual is sacred and physical is scientific. A sacred science, basically, that's what it is. The creation story is a sacred science. It's African sacred and scientific world cannot be separate. You feel me? So African sacred and scientific world cannot be separate. That's the same thing, because we believe that basically everything that they recorded was science, but it was, so spirituality is the unseen science, and science is the seen spirituality. Now, Atum Ra, which equals, which not equals, but uh represents consciousness or the sun, and then you got Shu, which is energy, and then you got Tefnut, which is elements. Then you have Nut, which is the sky or the universe. And then you have Geb, which is the earth. And then the rest, you feel me, like Asar, Aset are aspects of nature and reality. So the ones, Atum, Shu, Tefnut, Geb, and Nut, those are basically the ones we can't see. That's the unknown. We can see the earth, but it's aspects within the, you feel me, within there we can't see. Those are the unseen. And then Asar, Aset would be like nature and reality, so those are the seen. Also the sun, which is part of the creator, Atum Ra. You feel me? None was nothing, then Atum was consciousness. So none is nothing and something, but then Atum is the consciousness, the waking up, basically. So we all live the original the Trinity, the original Trinity. We all live it every day. So when we're resting, we're in the waters of none. And we are also potential energy. And then when we basically wake up, that's energy in motion, aka kinetic energy. So that's pata. And then when you recognize, when I'm saying, when you wake up and you like, okay, you feel me? I'm me. I'm up. That's a tum. That's the creative intelligence. That's the word. Or when you like get up, that's the atum. That's a creative word. So we all, every day we live the original Trinity. None. We resting in the waters of none. Then we are pata, when we are potential energy converted into kinetic energy, and then we are atum when we recognize who we are. That's the three Trinity. So um and atoms have electrons, and we move because of thought. So the none is the idea, the conception, or the theory, or the thought. And then pata would be the act or doing in the practice. And then atum would be the command, speech, the order, and the range consciousness. So like I said, the none would be when we sleeping. We're just at rest. And then Ptah is when we act, we wake up. And then Atum would be, okay, what are we about to do today? We about to go to the gym, we about to go to work, we about to, you feel me, get up and eat some breakfast or whatever you about to do. That would be Atum, the speech, the ordered arranged consciousness. Now, this was all guided by Ma'at, which is truth, justice, righteousness, order, arrangement, reciprocity, harmony, and balance. The essence of the creator is revealed as will, which is thought, and intent, which is command. So the symbol for thought is the heart, and the command would be the tongue. So thought, most people would think that you think with your, you feel me, that you know what I'm saying, you would think with your brain. Yes, but no, we think with our heart because it's really like your intent. Like I said, so you don't, with most of us do things, it's like emotion. So we do things from our heart. So like if you're feeling upset, you're probably not going to do things the same as you would when you're happy. So our heart really, it's not the brain. Even though you probably should, you probably think, you know what I'm saying? If you just going by your brain, you probably like, okay, no. Either way, if I'm happy or mad, I should do this one thing. But your heart is really the first thinker. So you think with your heart. That's the thought. The heart will be the thought. And then command, like I said, will be the tongue. So the heart conceives the idea and the tongue makes the idea a reality. To call someone by name or proclaim existence of is to reveal a human being's existence. And then to place the individual in space, aka geography, and time, aka history, and at the same time give that person his or her identity. So that is basically, you feel me, calling someone into existence. You have to give them space, time, and identity. That's calling into existence. That's calling, that's the revealing the human existence. Now, the Shabaka Stone was originally taught and studied in temples thousands of years ago. All was welcome. So it wasn't none of that when you hear about like the Illuminati and all that, and sacred science and sacred teachings and all that. We didn't know it was sacred, but everybody was welcome to learn it. Matter of fact, they taught it, like I said, in temples. They taught it in temples, in schools. We knew that shit. So mathematics, that was taught when we was youth. It wasn't a, you get into high school and we 18 and just learning algebra or calculus or nothing. No, that was middle schoolers probably know calculus. Like, you feel me? Like, they are way advanced. I know you seen all those reports where the African students did this well, excelled on this test, did the best at this. Like, it's not a surprise. Like, we are knowledge. We are intelligent. You feel me? So back to it. Kush was one of the huge geographic locations that included countries called Abyssinia and Nubia, which Abyssinia, I believe I'm saying that right, is basically modern day Ethiopia, and Nubia, which is present day Sudan, also Djibouti, and Eritrea, and Somalia. I think I'm saying them names right. Excuse me, but yeah. So that's what Nubia was. Present day Sudan, Djibouti, Eritrea, and Somalia. That was what Nubia, all of Nubia. That's what Nubia used to be. Um, all this wisdom on the Shabaka Stone, which came from the Memphite theology that dates back before the Old Kingdom. So the Memphite theology was written before 2780 and 2260 BCE. It was written before that time. So there's no specific date that we don't know when our ancestors first recorded this knowledge. Like that's wild to even think. Shouts out to Kaba Kamin, you know what I'm saying? Where's that? Shout out to him, the Shabaka Stone, you know what I'm saying? And basically he was explaining that um there was more time from when it was written to when it was no, there was more time from when it was found by Shabaka, like from found, there was more time from when it was found by Shabaka to now versus when it was written to when it was found. Basically, if that makes sense. So basically, the time that it was rewritten to today, even though that may seem like a long time ago, that is not even as long as when it was first written to when he found it. It's not even equal. So we don't know, like I said, we don't know when it was written. It was written when, you feel me, way, way, way back. So they can't even say that we was savages, we was primates, none of that shit. They can't say that shit because we was recording knowledge and wisdom way, way back. You know what I'm saying? Before they even existed. So yeah, wisdom was passed down from dynasty to dynasty, family to family, elder to younger, until it finally reached the dynastic family of the ancient Kush and finally in the Kush Kemet, which is Egypt. Kemet is Egypt for all y'all that don't know. And I say Kush Kemet because I like to represent all the people. It wasn't just Egyptians or Egypt. It was also Kush. Like they were all one people until all the separation and the ice people and everything. They were all one people. They unified all of the land. They were one. The Nubians are the ones that became, some of the Nubians are some of the ones that became Egyptians. They migrated up. They took the knowledge up. You feel me? Came from the south. Um Shabaka Stone took in early African ideas about creation and place, then into a symbolic system which revealed the divine laws of nature. It used figurative language of metaphors and myths to tell a spiritual, scientific, and philosophical story. You feel me? Myth connects the invisible world to the visible world. Myth provides the metaphysical, which is the unseen, truth about the physical, which is the seen, reality. So metaphysics is basically the unseen truth about the physical. That's why metaphysics is big, because that's everything we can't see. That's everything we probably don't understand because we haven't been taught it. So that's why when people say the earth is flat, most people think that's wild because they don't understand magnetism and de-electricity, and you feel me, the different type of electric forces and whatnot. They don't understand that. This tablet's text perceive the creator as, like I said, one spirit, both male and female, united as self-satisfaction, called myrrh, which is bliss. Now, I'm gonna start from the beginning. Again, it's multiple beginnings because they kept breaking it down. Everything has basically a breakdown, explaining a reason. So the tablet had three philosophies. Number one, the primate of essence, which is before the beginning began and the coming into being for the first time, which is Kepra. Kepra Sep Tepi, which is coming into being for the first time, is Kepra Sep Tepi. Nun, which is the primordial matter, the eternal waters. Ptah, which is the conversion of potential energy at rest into kinetic energy. Atum, which is the creative intelligence, calling all into existence. So you feel me? That was all philosophy one, primate of essence. Before the beginning begin, which is Kepra Septepi, which is coming into beginning for the first time. None, which is the primordial waters. Ptah, which is the conversion of energy, and Atum, which is creative intelligence. That was one. That was philosophy one. Then you got philosophy two, which is the essences of the pre-existing order, existing order and arrangement. Atum names the uncreated creations. So all these, they existed in the waters of none, but they didn't have a name until after Atum called them into existence or being. You feel me? So one was none, which is matter, which is male. And then you have nonette, which is space, which is female. Then you have ha, which is infinity, which is male. And then you have hahet, which is finity, which is female. Then you have kuk, which is darkness, which is male. Then you have kaket, which is light, and that's female. Then you have amen, which is hidden, and that's male. And then you have amenet, which is revealed. That's female. So that was the second philosophy, the essence of the pre-existence, order and arrangement. You feel me? So Atum had to name these: the nun, the nunette, ha and hahet, ka and kuket, amen and amenet. And all those were male and female. Like I said, everything was boom, and they need each other. There's no none without nonette, and there's nonette without none. Space and matter are one. And then you have infinity. You can't have infinity without finity. So you need both of them. Then you have darkness and light. You can't have, you feel me? You can't have one without the other. So yeah, so you have those pair of eights. You know what I'm saying? They can't do without the other. You need one for the other. You without one, neither one would exist. And then you have philosophy three, which is essence of order and arrangement. Nun, Ptah, and Atum transform into Atum Kepra and create the Netjeru. One, which is, you feel me, Shu, which is air in the atmosphere, that's male. And then Tefnut, which is moisture, and hydrosphere, which is female. And then the advent of the terrestrial and terrestrial, excuse me, I always fuck up on that word. The advent of terrestrial and terrestrial order, which is Geb and Nut, which Geb is earth, and the lithosphere, which is male, and then Nut, which is the sky, which is carbon, which is female. So, and then the next one is the birth of organic life. So Asar, which is the fertile seed, which is male. A Set, which is the fertile womb, which is female, of course. And then you have Seton, which is destroyer or sterile, which is male. And then you have Nebetit, which is the oracle reader or the visionary, which is female. So, and then Asar and Aset give birth to Heru, which is righteous inheritor, aka which was represented by the sun, represented male and female humanity. And then so those was the three, excuse me. So those was the three philosophies. One was the primate of essence, which is before the beginning began, and the coming to beginning for the first time, which is Kepra Septepi, Nun, Ptah, and Atum. That was the primate of essence. Then you have philosophy two, which is the essences of pre-existing order and arrangement. This is when Atum names all the uncreated creations, which is Nun, Nanette, Ha, Hahet, Ka, Kaket, and Amen and Amenet. Then you have philosophy three, which is the essences of order and arrangement. So that's when Nun, Ptah, and Atum, they transformed into Kepra, and they created the Netjeru, which is Shu, Tefnut, Geb, and Nut, Asar, Aset, Seton, Nebatit, and Heru. Now, getting into matter of fact, so we just gonna end it right there. Next episode, I'm gonna get more into I'm gonna go start at the beginning again, and I'm gonna further explain none and how basically the Big Bang, what they call it, what we told the Big Bang. I'm gonna basically explain what the Big Bang is. So next, you feel me? Next lecture is gonna be about the none, the eternal waters of immortality, and we just raising the frequency, we raising awareness, we getting, you feel me, we're understanding, we're understanding our ancestors more, aka understanding ourself more. Know thyself, and make sure if you need to, you can just play it back. I tried to explain it as well as I can. You feel me? If you got any questions, feel free to reach out. We sharing all type of information, all knowledge, and like I said, next one we gonna start with the nun, the eternal waters of immortality. So y'all have a good one. Peace, love, harmony. See you next time.